world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just
speaking into the void?
But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
New Year, same extra value meals at McDonald's. So now get 2 snack wraps, plus fries, and a medium soft drink for just $8.
For limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Hawaii, Alaska, and California, and for delivery.
I'm Gary Birtles, one of the old gits from a long time ago. You've got to tune into Tricky Talks, I believe, so just do it. All the best.
Robertson, the first time we've seen them attack them, and there's Francis! Well, that's what I wanted to see Robertson do. And still Robertson, getting his shot in, and a goal! Robertson!
Hello, welcome along to the Tricky Talks podcast. As Forest sting the Bees with a great 2-0 win and a much-needed 3 points, we'll go through the talking points from that and look forward to the last Europa League game of the group stage this coming Thursday. Here with me, as always, is Kate. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good to see you not got back safely from Brentford.
Yeah, had a great run, actually.
Excellent.
And back, no problems. All good.
And Mollo's here as always. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Yeah, good to see you yesterday as well. It's the first time we've sat together for a game or maybe ever, I think.
Possibly, yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
I'm going to say sat together, yes.
Yeah.
Terrace at Colchester, I reckon.
Yes, probably. And that was a long time ago.
And a horrible, horrible memory, actually. I don't blame you for wiping that. Not the standing next to you, the fact that we got dumped by Colchester.
Yeah, true.
And we both have friends who are Colchester fans.
Yeah, before we get into Brentford then, just a couple of bits of news. A couple of interesting transfer rumours that are flying around right now. One of the lesser one is Lewis Dunk from Brighton, linked today, I believe. Forest remain keen. I mean, I don't know where the word remain comes from because I didn't know they were keen in the first place, but there you go. That's one name that's come out of the blue today, and the other one that seems to have more substance to it is Mateta from Crystal Palace. According to David Ornstein of The Athletic, Forest have bid £35 million, but Palace are holding out for 40, and they want to get a replacement in as well. That one seems to be difficult to get across the line, if you ask me, considering what Palace need to do and the history between the teams, certainly this season. But Kate, you have some interesting gossip to share on that with us tonight.
So yeah, news from the Supporters Trust event, that's AGM that's going on this evening, was that question was posed to Nick Randall, who was being, generally doing a Q&A. And I think his response was something along the lines of, it's at a delicate stage, so I don't want to say more. So the fact that it's at any stage, delicate or not, it seems like good news to me. So we'll take that and watch this space very closely.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly would be a great signing, Mollo, I think, given his track record of being a Premier League
yeah, I think
stalwart. I don't think you could argue with that signing at all, could you?
I like London buses, aren't they? You wait for one striker and two come along. But I think the delicate stage thing probably relates to, have we signed they're concentrating on that and Darren Prattley still. So we'll see.
Yeah. Right, let's get on. We'll wait and see what happens there. But let's get on to Brentford then. And it was a very, very important win this weekend, wasn't it? Considering West Ham got a win of their own to narrow the gap to 2 points. Just share with me, Mollo, your initial thoughts on how important that win actually was in the whole scheme of things.
I think as much as it was important, I think if we're being brutally honest, it was unexpected. Even though it was deja vu, it was rinse and repeat from last season when we went there. But the difference was that feeling because of where we've been. Last season, I never had any doubts we were going to get something and probably win once we scored one. This season, having watched it back, we were a lot more comfortable than it felt like, as always. But once we got that first goal, to hold on and get those 3 points was absolutely fantastic. And we weren't hanging on by the skin of our teeth or anything. And obviously, Taiwo Dino went and did what he did. So the importance of those 3 points is huge. What a kick in the teeth to the teams around us, and particularly West Ham. And if we can sort of be a bit less Forest-like, and I know we'll come to that later in the show, and play like that or perform and get the results against the other teams, who knows who could get dragged back into it. But yeah, so important. You just have to look at the league table. That important.
I think people were looking for a response, weren't they, Kate, after the poor show at Bradford? And the team came out really on the front foot for those first 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, there was a little bit of a scare. They could easily have gone one down right before they scored. But generally speaking, those first 15, 20 minutes, they looked pretty decent, didn't they? And they looked to have almost like come out with a sense of purpose, which they certainly didn't do in Braga.
Absolutely. I needed them to do that. Desperately wanted them to. And like you say, the first 20 minutes, you suddenly thought, wow, here they go. You know, we could do this. We could get something here. And you just felt that they were in control at that point, you know, away at Brentford. You're right. Matt Sells made an amazing save. And there was some really good defending going on. Yeah, they needed to defend, but they were doing it really, really well. And that sudden realization that we're not in Braga anymore was really nice and was absolutely reflected in the way they were being supported, and the noise in the away end was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, and when obviously we'll come on to the goals, but an incredible goal to start us off and an incredible goal to finish them off. So yeah, limbs in the away end, as they say.
Yeah, I think, Simon, you're muted.
Yeah, let's sorry about that. Let's talk about the first goal actually, because immediately preceding that, Mollo, we almost were one down, weren't we? I think they had a chance, and Sangare gave the ball away, didn't they? But they broke up the field really quickly and scored. Yeah,
all part of the plan. The new Sangare is what we've been waiting for this season, and I've been kind of the one watching him, and if you like, a little bit critical, well, very critical sometimes, that he sometimes goes missing after a couple of good games or a good game. But what I thought was he drew them in with his pretending to lose the ball, knowing that Sells would dig him out again, and instead of going 1-0 down, a terrific move. At the time, I thought that Ola Aina had been half tackled or miskicked it or something, but he dummied it and kicked the floor, didn't he? And then I still can't tell if it looked like it took a slight deflection on the cross, but the way it scoops up, I just can't tell. And then the goal itself, I mean, it was a great build-up and a great way to break. And then the goal itself, I mean, it was Collins who made the mistake, wasn't it? It was crap defending, obviously, the way where the ball scooped in. He seemed like he wanted to try and head it as if, I don't know, if he couldn't see Jesus, and I don't care. My only concern was, as he controlled it, turned and shot, and he always strikes the ball well, it was almost the identical part of the arm to the goal that was disallowed at Liverpool, wasn't it? Give or take. And I was like, I went nuts and then realised it wasn't going to be disallowed and went nuts again a little bit. So superb build-up, superb, exciting counter-attack. And as I said earlier, that's Dyche ball as well. You can't moan and call it Dyche ball, some people, when we're not playing well and losing, and then when we smash Tottenham 3-0 or do what we did there and say it's not on Dyche, because that is as well. So, I mean, you know me, I'm behind him 100%, and I was so pleased. But it was an exciting goal as well, not just a really great finish and everything else. It was just, the way it unfolded was just class, absolute class. It was very reminiscent of us last season when we were confident.
That was very, very, like I say, very assertive first 15 and 20 minutes. And it was always going to be tricky to, if you excuse the pun, to keep that up for the whole half. And sure enough, Brentford made some adjustments, most notably when they had to make those 2 substitutions, and they went 3 at the back and which gave them more width in midfield. And from that point onwards, for the rest of the half, Kate, it was pretty much backs to the wall job, wasn't it? Because Forest didn't adjust themselves, and Brentford were on the offensive pretty much for the most of that first half, weren't they?
Yeah, but do you know what kept going through my head when I was watching that is that previously, when I've been watching games in the ground and you've been at home, Simon, you've sent messages to say things like, it might look chaotic, but actually it's really concise and it's really good. And obviously I knew that you were there, so I wasn't going to get that message from you this time. But that's what I kept thinking. I just kept thinking, I'm just going to pretend that I've got that message from Simon that says, don't panic. It's
organised chaos.
Yeah, organised chaos. That's what we've got here. So that's what that kept running through my head. And I was like, no, it's fine. But I think that last, I would say, probably 10 minutes of the first half, where we felt like collectively we were crawling across the finish line with them, didn't we, to get to half time. And then you got to half time and you were like, yes, we've got to half time and we're still 1-0 up. And then it suddenly occurred to you that there was a whole other half to play, and you were like, okay. But no, it was an absolute pleasure to watch. How great was it just to be in front and defending a 1-0 lead away to Brentford after what happened on Thursday? Even that in itself was just like, this is great.
Yeah, I do want to talk about the defence a bit more, though, because they certainly earned their pennies this game and they looked solid. It was their first choice back 5. There were moments, Mollo, weren't there, when each of them perhaps had their dodgy moments, but you got to expect that over the course of 90 plus minutes, and not least Aina still needs to get a bit of match fitness. Murillo gave the ball away a couple of times, but equally he did some really important stuff as well. But generally speaking, that back 5 look to be fairly solid at the moment, don't they? And touch wood, let's hope they remain fit for the remainder of the season, because we're certainly going to need them, aren't we? And they put in an exceptional performance and exactly what was needed. Yes, on 100%.
Sunday. And it felt a bit like it at the time, but watching it back, there were long periods of play where we just kept them at arm's length and let them pass side to side, get it out to the wide man, pass it back. I think it's worth a little mention as well. We've got Matt Sells back, haven't we? That period of being injured, maybe that injury was having an effect. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but maybe sitting on the bench for a couple of weeks has kind of refreshed him, but it's or reset him almost, because we've got the Matt Sells back now that we had last season. You know, yes, he's not the strongest on crosses still, but he's dug us out. Well, dug Sangare out in particular. He had one of the really good saves, which was actually, to be fair, good. That Brentford's only time they properly opened us up. And there were loads of set pieces and crosses being wanged into the box, but for the majority of them, they didn't really hurt us. And you've hit the nail on the head. The back 5 were absolutely superb. I haven't read too much on social media today. I've been really busy, but I could hear the talk a little bit at one point on, Murillo's not had a great game. Well, what's Murillo's job at the end of the day? First and foremost is to defend. And defensively, he was an absolute rock. He played a couple of really good passes and he did some of what he can do. And he had that little 5-minute spell where he gave the ball away, but he didn't give it away, if you like, the way we nearly did at the start. It was a ball into midfield or a long ball that he massively overhit.
Yeah, or distribution, that one, wasn't it?
Well, that one where he spooned it out of play. It happens, but it's not critical. It wasn't nice because it invited pressure again a couple of times, but it was just pressure with no real end product. That said, another day it could go the other way. I'm not an idiot. That's football. And to quote our friend Mr. Warburton, fine margins and all that. But that back five, particularly with Anderson and Sangare sat in front of them, that's a really solid base. And teams are going to have to play well to unpick that base. What we've got to learn collectively, I'm going to say, I'm not going to pick out individuals and certain things I've read from certain groups, but we've got to learn that when we are the aggressor and we've got teams that want to do that to us, we've got to have patience. And we're in a position where there's no such thing as a bad point. And I know we're going to talk about games coming up later. So if we have to, it's an old Cloughie saying, isn't it? Take the clean sheet. That's all that matters. Take the...
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone get that excited when I've been speaking about football before.
Yeah, for the benefit of listeners, Chelsea has been having technical problems, but she's finally managed to sort them out and has joined us. So welcome, Chelsea.
Hello, I'm back. And I'm great. Yes! Blimmin' technology. Easy. Gosh, sorry, people. I do apologise.
Like you say there, Simon, the back five were outstanding at doing their main job. And it was really obvious at one point in front of us that poor old Olo was blowing out his backside, wasn't he? He kind of needed a minute to get his wind back, so to speak, because he worked so hard. And his body's catching up with his football brain now, isn't it? And his match fitness will get better and better. That's the match. The only positive I took out of the Thursday game was Olo got a load of minutes under his belt. And, he set up the goal, was outstanding. And it flowed through the team, didn't it? That back five bases. And as we talk about defence, quick mention, because it was like old times, Mateta, not yet. Nearly said it. Ratto came off the bench to shore things up and keep the clean sheet. And I know he didn't have a lot to do, but he won his headers and he did one particularly superb goal-saving potential header, at the end. So all is well back in Forest land.
And you mentioned Murillo doing a few miscues earlier on, Mollo, and I don't know whether you guys have seen the Forest social media account today, but there is an NFL quarterback called Patrick Mahomes who is very, very well known for his no-look passes, and that's dead easy. You've got a ball in your hand, you throw it to a receiver, you know exactly where it is, and you don't have to look at where he is on the field because that's your job. You're a quarterback. You know where your receivers are. You throw it to him. Murillo did a no-look pass with his feet, and it must have been 30, 40 yard through ball to Elliot Anderson or Gibbs White. I can't remember which one it was.
Think.
He was not looking at anyone other than the people. It's either somebody in the stand or it was. One of the other Forest defenders, and he literally put that through ball without even looking where he was kicking it, and it was perfect. Yeah, it was perfect. So you can forgive him. If he can do a pass like that, you can forgive him for the odd miscue now and again.
If he defends like that, he can do what he wants.
Yeah. Anyway, Chelsea, welcome. Sorry you're a few minutes late, but we were just talking about how good the defence were on Sunday and how much of a much needed job the regular back five did.
Yeah, definitely. It was one of them. Great to be back, by the way. It was one of those games where I was speaking to Dad, and I especially saw it from Milenkovic. Forest had been lacking for God knows how many games, well, months really. Just the passion, the want, the desire, the hunger. And I think even the fans had lost it a bit as well, to be honest. And seeing them on that pitch for the Brentford game was just absolutely phenomenal. And our defence, I feel like our defence have got a lot more confident now that Sells is back in goal. I don't know whether anyone else feels the same. I just feel like Sells then allows himself to become a better keeper with having Murillo and Milenkovic just in front of him, equally just behind. They're like a triangle, those three, and I absolutely love it. But they were, it's great to be a Forest fan at the moment, and we haven't had this feeling for a while, have we, guys? Let's be honest. But yeah, they played outstandingly well. It was before we were trying to find, I don't want to say players who are having their better games, whereas now I'm struggling to find players who are not having as good a game for the last 3 games that I played. So, yeah.
Yeah, the defence certainly did the nitty-gritty, but it was the forwards that took the glory. We've already talked about Jesus and his goal, but let's talk about Taiwo as well, because it's a long-awaited goal for Taiwo. And right from the moment he came on, Mollo, you and I said he looked up for it, didn't he? And he provided that physicality that was much needed. But he was doing a real job as well, not only as a number 9, but he was tracking back and defending as well. And he got his reward at the end, where he fought off the fullback, and then he darted into the area and slotted it into that far corner. Very reminiscent of Jesus' goal, albeit it wasn't a turn, but it was a side foot through the keeper into the same corner. And there were absolute limbs at that point. And at that moment in time, Taiwo Awoniyi was the hero of Forest. He was the cult hero, wasn't he? He was the man at that time, and he got his reward for all of his hard work, especially after coming back from that horrendous injury last season. But just speak to the guys, Mollo, about Taiwo and his performance on Sunday.
Well, I've been a very minor voice in its early days, saying we've seen signs of it at the old Taiwo, particularly at Bournemouth away, but then he didn't play for a long time, and of course we know he's picked up too many injuries.
Are you a forward thinker? Then you need an HR and finance platform that thinks like you do. Workday is the AI platform that helps propel your organization, your workforce, and your industry into the future. Workday, moving business forever forward.
Wherever Bud goes, his harmonica goes with him. It's a pocket full of soul. Now he's living with prostate cancer. He asked his doctor about Xtandi enzalutamide. Xtandi 40 milligram tablets treats men with prostate cancer that has spread to other parts of the body and responds to a medical or surgical treatment to lower testosterone. Xtandi may cause serious side effects: seizure, a brain condition called PRESS, allergic reactions, heart disease that can lead to death, falls and bone fractures, swallowing problems, or choking that can lead to death. Stop Xtandi and get medical help at once if your face, tongue, lip, or throat start swelling. Tell your doctor at once if you faint, have a seizure, quickly worsening headache, decreased alertness, confusion, vision problems, chest pain or discomfort, or shortness of breath. Xtandi can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during and 3 months after Xtandi. Common side effects include muscle and joint pain, feeling unusually tired, hot flashes, constipation, less appetite, diarrhea, high blood pressure, bleeding, falls, fractures, and headache. Talk to your doctor and visit Xtandi.com.
Good morning, Crust. It's a great day to be a bread brother.
Ugh, mornings are not my jam. Or jelly.
Oh, come on. Stop loafing around.
I just woke up feeling hollow inside.
Psst, just grab one of the new Morning Uncrustables sandwiches, like Bright-Eyed Berry or Up and Apple, filled with 12 grams of protein and tons of deliciousness. Crust, what are you eating?
It's just granola, not even yogurt.
No crust, no fuss. Uncrust your mornings.
But he's a guy who's proven in this league. He's a guy that gives everything, and he's a guy I've never heard a bad word said about his attitude while he's been sat on the bench, while managers have been a bit unsure about whether they could pick him or trust him to play occasionally. I don't know, just generally speaking, he wasn't getting a look in under Ange if he was fit at the time. I can't remember now. I've tried to put that period of Forest out of my head, but the guy is an absolute gem of a human being, so everybody wants him to do well. Anyone who doesn't hasn't got a heart. But what's so lovely is he's done a cameo of, I think he came on, I did make note of it earlier when I was watching it back, and he did absolutely everything right. If we'd have had a new striker come off the bench and do everything he did, except for the goal, we'd have been going, this guy can play and his work rate's brilliant and he's troubled the defenders and all the things you said a minute ago, Simon. Even helping out the defence, winning the ball in midfield a couple of times. He didn't put a foot wrong. And sometimes it's just your day, isn't it? And that can what it takes to kickstart you. And he was just brilliant. I mean, the way he took that goal, at the time it looked really, really good. But having seen it back, how calm he was in front of goal. Because he'd done all the hard work in theory, but how many times you say, they've done all the hard work and then miss or whatever, and it was just so calm. I have no doubt in my mind he meant to put it through the keeper's legs. You know how good strikers often do, and like when he sat down the Man United keeper that time, things like that. And there's nobody who's not happy for him. And some people were really scathing. I actually think a couple of games ago there was a time that Sean Dyche, he probably thought about bringing Tyro on, but having had such a reaction the previous time when he came on and didn't do very well, people said, "Oh, if that's all," he might have thought twice, and he didn't think twice away at Brentford. And my God, did he repay him? Absolutely, he couldn't have done any more in the game in that short space of time. And could look at it another way. That's like Luca, what's his name, the best signing we've ever made up front, because as soon as we sign him, both the other strikers respond to the competition by scoring one each, and fair play. But no, everyone was buzzing and singing his name non-stop, and just brilliant. And like Kate said earlier, the person who put the thing with when Forest are in a relegation fight, call for Tyro, and his picture in a Brazil shirt, he goes all Brazil. So yeah, I'm chuffed to bits for him. You know, he's not the most technically gifted or easy on the eye player sometimes, but then so what? He's done something. He's proven a few things just in that cameo, hasn't he? He's still got his pace, because people said he lost his pace. He's still got his strength, because people are saying, "Oh, that injury's done him," and he can still play. And now he's got that goal, which sometimes is what you need. You know, they talk about just one off your backside getting you going. How about a Ronaldo-esque worldie? Does that get you going instead? So what a guy!
I think I have to say that I have absolutely been guilty of engaging in that conversation around Taiwo about whether he was done, whether he was ever going to play again, of saying things like he's only going to score if it bounces in off his bum. You know, all of those things that people had been saying, and how sweet was it to be proved 100% wrong on Sunday? Because like you say, when he came on, it was like, I am back, wasn't it? He came on with that demeanour, and you saw him playing. And you were like, now that is Taiwo Awoniyi. That is Taiwo Awoniyi. And the goal, honestly, I feel like it happened in slow motion.
Yeah.
Like watching it, it was like, even though obviously it didn't, but it just felt like, oh my goodness, and then and it was just absolutely incredible. And like you say, singing his song again, and I saw on the Forest social media the players singing his chant to him as they were walking back in the dressing room, and I just thought, what a beautiful moment for the fans, for the player, for all the players on the pitch, for Sean Dyche. Just incredible.
It was almost in slow motion, wasn't it? Because he darted into the area, and he had that one Brentford player who, excuse me, God knows what he was doing, but decided
sent him
to
slide. He was going to the shops.
Just slide in front of the goal. The other two weren't really doing anything, and Taiwo just looked as though he stood there taking it all in and just decided, oh, here we go, and knocked it in. But Moller raised a good point, Kate, around the fact that it's ironic that they sign a striker and then both the two strikers then score. So you do wonder, though, what the future holds for Taiwo, because with Luca now having been signed and the rumours of Mateta that we talked about earlier, certainly if Mateta comes off, Taiwo's going to be down the pecking order, isn't he, a little bit again?
Not yet.
And you do wonder, fear for his long-term future if the transfers come off.
I kept hearing, Dean keeps winding me up about that. He keeps saying to me that there's rumours about him going to Ipswich Town.
No, he's too
and
good
I was like, exactly, that's what I kept saying. Yeah, Taiwo. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. But he said,
room house.
Yeah. But I just, how, well, to be fair, it's Dean, but never, he got it from somewhere. There's no smoke without fire, but I wouldn't believe that in a heartbeat.
Hashtag Taiwo for town.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how we'd bully the Championship defenders?
Yeah, I know, that's what I thought. I did say to Dean, the first thing I said was like, yeah, you could do with him, to be fair.
Yeah, go on, Kate.
Well, a couple of things to say on that is first of all, if there is any truth to that and he is on his way, what a fantastic way to go out.
Yeah.
Okay. But the other thing I would say about that is we've all been talking about needing the players to show some heart, to want to play for the badge, to want to be there. And if you see that performance on Sunday and then hear him speaking afterwards in his interview, that is a man who wants to be at Forest, who wants to play for the team and play for the badge. Incredibly humble, but also absolutely full of that passion that we are asking for. So I would urge Dyche to think about that one.
Yeah, and the other thing to add to that, we know our first 11 can be very, very good at any given time, and our reserve B team currently is vastly underperforming. Well, I forget, is it 6 or whatever you're allowed on the bench now? Well, the old Warnock thing of always having 4 strikers available if you can help it. He's a at worst, bearing in mind if he does start scoring goals, he could make us sound like idiots even saying this. But at worst, he's a great option to have off the bench in terms of bullying defenders, etc., etc. And yeah, he knows where the goal is. Okay, he hasn't shown it, and he hasn't had that many opportunities to show it. But he scored a couple of goals in the cup last season, didn't he? Down at was it Exeter? Yes, it's only Exeter. I get that, but it was only Wrexham the other night, and we couldn't beat them. So for me, if he doesn't want to go, he's the sort of guy wherever he goes, he's going to do exactly what Kate said, isn't he? He's going to be humble. He's going to show passion. He'll play for the badge. He'll give everything he's got, and that's the sort of guy he is. So when you see, I've seen a few clips of him training in the last couple of months, and he's been banging in some nice, tidy finishes. Now, it's a big difference in training, I know, but we know he can do it in a match because he's done it before. There's plenty of people out there that look good in training and never put it into a match, but he's done it before, and it's only a matter of time till he starts scoring again for whoever he plays for. But I hope he stays. It's not just.
Yeah, I do.
I think there's too much ability, goal scoring ability, that we can still utilise one way or another, because this B team hasn't been pulling up any trees. So once he's eligible, which I hope, I don't know if I'm beyond all the complications of homegrown players and all that malarkey, but if he were to be added to the squad potentially, then that helps that B team a lot, having that kind of passion in there as well, and potential goal scoring.
Talking of adding to the squad, Chelsea, given the fact that Forest have secured at least one playoff leg in the Europa League, would you add Taiwo to the squad for the next phase?
Yeah, I would, to be honest. I think for him, he needs that as well. I mean, it was so lovely having Taiwo come on. We all love him. And I think him bringing, like Kate said, the passion and the energy as well, I think that's what the B team needs, and I think that's what's lacking.
Just
you
a
know,
bit.
Yeah. And I mean, Dyche said it himself: "Don't come knocking on my door wanting to play, and then you end up performing like that." And Taiwo wants it, and I think he would set an amazing example for the B team, and actually showing them what, you know, one, what they are capable of, and two, show us how much you actually want it. And I mean, you know, who can score goals like Taiwo, hey? Who can charge down that, you know, nip through past a few defenders, drop with the shoulder. You just can't. He's the man is like, he just runs through people like a bull, and he's so skillful. And yeah, I personally, I keep thinking, would I start him or would I bring him on? But I think, I don't know whether he could play. He wouldn't be able to play the full 90, but I suppose we could get a good 70 minutes out of him from starting.
After you've been at a defence that's been run into the ground by Jesus everywhere, and then he goes off, and on comes someone who's slightly different type of player, but works just as hard and is about twice the size.
Yeah, exactly.
Not what you want to see as a defender.
No,
and he can score.
Final word on the forward line just before we go to Molo's moment, Kate. Lorenzo Lucco has obviously now been signed and didn't make the bench for the Brentford game, having only just literally arrived in the country. But it adds another dimension, doesn't it, to that forward line? It gives them some more options. When do you think we can expect to see him starting, or do you think he's going to displace Jesus, or do you think he's probably going to have to get himself bedded in and be an impact sub in the short term?
I think Jesus has laid down the gauntlet, hasn't he, from that performance on Sunday? So he said, "This is my spot. You can come and have a go at taking it, but right now it's mine, mate." And I would absolutely agree with that. I hope to see him on the bench. I hope to see him come on and play, possibly against Palace, just because I think we'd all like to have a look at him. But no, I don't anticipate him starting. I don't anticipate him displacing Jesus anytime soon. again, there's the question around whether or not we add him to the Europa squad. We can't add any. I don't know how many we can change.
I'm not sure. I'd read 3 potentially, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure.
No, and I mean, obviously Hutchinson, we would think is definitely one of those 3 that's going to be added, which only leaves 2. Do we want to make both of those strikers? I'm not sure. And there is obviously also the potential incoming of another name, which I'm sure we'll get onto, who would also maybe, think that he would like to get into the starting squad and certainly in the European squad. Potentially jumping up a European competition there.
Is that Mateta, or have you got some more breaking news that we don't know about?
That is absolutely Mateta. See, he always wanted to play in the Europa, didn't he? This is just his way of doing it.
Exactly. Only Forest could go from 0 strikers available one match to potentially 4 strikers. 3 of whom have been scoring a lot of goals. One obviously scored well last season for another team. Available a couple of weeks later, potentially. It's just nuts, isn't it?
I think that you've hit the nail on the head for me. I think given the problems they had finding somebody to play up front against Braga, they can't afford to do that again if they want to progress in the competition. So they're going to have to add options. They're going to have to add a couple. I think Taiwo and Luca are the obvious candidates because they're in the squad right now, but obviously Mateta could be considered if he signs.
Can you imagine with having that Luca as a 6-foot odd striker, we might be a danger from set pieces. Who knows? I know, miracles could happen.
We're in a danger in our own set piece.
Not to ourselves for once.
Yeah. Right, on to Molo's moment then. What are you going to go for this week? I know we talked about it a couple of things, didn't we, on Sunday, but what are you going to go for?
Well, I feel like as somebody who is very much a fan of the English language and words being used properly and stuff, I feel a bit guilty because it's going to be from start to finish Taiwo's goal, which wasn't a moment, it was a very long moment, wasn't it? It was from when we haven't mentioned the pass, have we? From when Gibbs White put the ball into him to when the ball hit the back of the net. That's what being a football fan's all about. It's worth the Braga games and the other rubbish games, West Ham there at home and all that. When that happens, it was just sheer heads gone moment, and It's Taiwo's moment, not Molo's moment this week.
Yeah, excellent. Good choice. Right, Kate, have you got a quiz for us this week, please?
I have to admit this is a tough one. I think this is a tough one, but I was trying to get something vaguely relevant to our fixture on Thursday. Okay,
oh God.
So yes, I know. So this is what I've come up with. Okay, Robbie Keane, who is, of course, the manager of Ferencvaros, only scored 1 goal against Forest in his career. Tell me about it, as in, who was it for, what game? What can you tell me about the 1 goal that Robbie Keane scored against Forest?
Was it something unusual? Was something not normal?
Not particularly. It's just, he only put 1 past us ever. So, can you tell me what game it was in, which team he was playing for?
Okay.
Can you remember anything about it all?
Okay.
I thought this one might stretch you a bit here, Molo.
Molo needs
you're on your own with that one.
Yeah, Molo needs to close down ChatGPT and think.
No, I'll write down names. Look.
He's got his pen and paper. He's fine.
I'm writing down the teams he played for.
Yeah, whilst we're thinking of that, Chelsea, do you want to give an FPL update this week if you have one, please?
Yes, I do. And I would just like to say that I know we've got our Tricky Talks podcast league, but in our little mini pod league of just us 4, and I know Simon's laughing, I know why he's laughing, because we have a new leader in our little 4, and then Molo's just raised his head there, and that's because, Molo, you are now in the lead from us 4. You have now taken over Simon, and you are in 7th place, and you got 55 points so far this week, because we obviously everyone needs to play.
Leeds are 1-0 up.
They're still 1-0 up, are they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Hasn't gone with us this week, has it? Never mind. But, Kate, you have remained in 28th place, and I did see that you played your bench boost this week.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I'm sorry because it would have been absolutely pathetic had I not done. But I had flipping Ruffs and Raya in goal, So that did me no good. I was with the
Same.
bajillions of people that captained Haaland against Wolves, so that did me no good. So
Oh, don't worry.
without the bench boost, honestly.
I know so many people who triple captained Haaland this week as well, and he got a grand total of 6 if you triple captained him. So I know everyone's in that same boat as well, like we were with the Wolves game. But yes, you've still got Garner to play on your bench, and you've also got Tarkowski as well to play in your team. So, but overall, let me have a look how much you actually did have overall, Kate, because I most definitely didn't look. You'll have to crop this out, Simon. And you, Kate.
Currently on 45.
Oh, there we go. You're on 45 points. Okay, that is what you're on so far. Simon, you did drop down just underneath Mollo to 8th.
I did.
36 points.
You're lucky
but
I've
with
got tons of Arsenal defenders.
Yeah, I'm blaming Man United and Arsenal because Arsenal just crumbled. Don't know whether you've seen the memes going around about Arsenal.
No.
Apparently Tesco's selling a new dessert and it's called Arsenal Crumble.
Hey.
I like that though.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when I did have a look, I was like, well, no wonder you got 36 because you had Haaland and Ekitike up front.
I did.
And I was like, oh, so no wonder there. But it's okay, there's always another week. But just remember that Mollo is now beating you. So just remember that.
My favourite Arsenal meme that I've seen today, sorry to interrupt, Chelsea, was
no worries.
Donkey from Shrek singing I'm a Believer. Question, do you believe Arsenal are about to bottle the Premier League? And then he goes, I believe. That was my favourite one today. Sidetracking.
Love that. I am in 20th place with 45, and my highest scoring one was Martinez in goal. He got me 10 points. So I was like, okay, I'll take that. But what I really found interesting was that try and guess who the highest FPL Forest player was this game week.
Ola Aina.
Yes, it was. Yes, 11 points he scored.
Because he got an assist and a clean sheet.
Yes,
and probably
he did.
DEFCON as well.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I was having a little look at his breakdown. I thought, there we go. So it's always good to see Aina back. But yeah, that's the FPL update this week.
Don't chew on that, Max.
Cooper loves that chew too.
Oh, now he's into Cooper's food. Wow, he is loving it. What do you feed Cooper?
Blue Buffalo Life Protection Formula. He never leaves a crumb. I love it because it's made with high-quality protein, nutrient-rich fruits and veggies, and wholesome whole grains.
Looks like we're switching to Blue.
Blue Buffalo foods are made with the superior ingredients your dog needs to thrive. Can your dog food say that? Visit feedbluefood.com to learn more.
Do you want to hear another Arsenal meme I've just seen?
Oh, go on
Yes.
then.
Have you heard of the film The Bridesmaids?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's the image to accompany the cover of the film is 5 bridesmaids all lined up, and they've now been replaced by the heads of Arsenal players.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
I've locked in my Robbie Keane answer for later now. I'm not giving up thinking about it. I'm losing concentration.
Mollo, I could hear your cogs whirring.
Yeah,
Let's get on to the final Europa League game of the season then. And Kate was great at pronouncing it earlier, but it's how do you pronounce it?
The Hungarians.
Yeah, Ferencvaros, led by Robbie Keane, of course, as Kate said. And they're currently world ranked 124th. The European rank is 92nd, and their national rank is 1st because they're the Hungarian champions. They're currently 3rd in the Hungarian league this season. They've played 13, won 10, drawn 4, lost 5 on 34 points. In all their current form, in all competitions, they've won 1 of the last 4. Prior to that, they won 4 in a row. And in the Europa League this year, they're unbeaten. They've played 7, won 4, drawn 3, scored 12, conceded 7, 15 points, currently in 7th place. So they've got a lot to aim for to retain their spot in the top 8. The games in the Europa League so far, they haven't played a team of any note, would you believe. Forest have played 3 teams who have been eliminated already, and they've played teams in the top 8. Ferencvaros have played Genk, who they beat, who are 10th. Salzburg they beat, who are 28th. Ludo Gretz they beat, who are 25th. Fenerbahce they drew with, who are 18th. Rangers they beat, who are 31st, and Panathinaikos in their last game they drew. So they haven't really played a team of any note, but they're the Hungarian champions, of course. They must have some pedigree. Now, the question, given the fact that Forest have secured a Europa League playoff spot, the only thing they've got to play for is whether they play at home first or second.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, what team would you pick? Kate, we'll start with you. Would you go, we talked about this last week for Braga, and you were in favour of a strong team. Would you go down that route again, or would you play the B team, considering excuse me, there isn't a huge amount on the line?
I have to say I am a little bit in two minds here, because it's practically impossible for us to get top 8, isn't it? So I could potentially understand the school of thought of playing the second string, as we like to call them, amongst other things that we like to call them. I can, but for the sake of my travel plans, I would really appreciate it, Mr. Dyche, if you could go strong, please, and if we could win this flipping game. So, it's a really difficult one to answer, because, you know, we're all buzzing after Brentford, and quite rightly so, and we have every right to be, and we deserve to be, but it was a shocker in Braga, an absolute shocker, and I do not want to sit through another 90 minutes of football like that from Forest. So, you know, the starting 11 that played against Brentford as a team on their own are stringing together some consistency, which is good to see. So I'm going to say I would really, really like to see him go strong and show the fans that they value this competition, that they want to do well in it. Give us a good night on the Trent in Europa. I would love to see that. Whether or not I think that's what's going to happen, I don't know.
Well, yeah, given the fact they've got Palace on Sunday right after that, and if they beat Palace are dragged into that relegation battle, and they seem to be imploding at the minute. So given
the level on points with them, I think if we do, yeah.
Absolutely, and they just seem to be plummeting downward in a downward spiral uncontrollably at the minute. So given the importance of that game, Chelsea, what would you do? Would you focus your resources on Palace, or would you go for it in the Europa League?
I've always been... Oh, okay. So I was a bit like Kate. I was in two minds. I was like, I just want to see Forest play well in Europe. I just want to feel like people are not like, oh yeah, we're just playing Forest, because that's how I feel like we were being perceived at that moment because of how poorly we were playing, and I wanted us to come across as a threat. But looking at the games that we have got coming up and looking at the Palace game, I don't know whether we can risk that. And that's how I feel at the moment. I think focus on the Premier League. That to me is the most important, because that is where we could potentially get Europe in the future. Without being in the Premier League, we're not going to get that. So for me, see, again, it's that head and heart situation. It's like my heart just wants to go, put your best team out. Yeah, that is. It's like, just put your best team out and just... Oh, did you?
Head versus heart.
That is. Whereas head and like thinking and planning for the future and wanting to make sure we do keep out of the relegation zone, because to me that is priority, is keeping in the Premier League.
What if we didn't play Backward and McAtee? We just put those two out.
Yes.
No, they're never going to become the player we need if we don't play them when the chance arises. Like, I think unfortunately, from a selfish point of view, much like Kate, my difference with in terms of the travel plans is it's going to cost me double if we play it the other way round. It's just because of work commitments. But take that out of it, as a football Forest supporter, I want to see gun in goal. I want to see a youth team left back, or whoever's the most senior left back we've got that's not in the first team squad. None of the starting lineup that he plans top 11 or 12 for Sunday, because Dr. Forrester in town next Sunday when Palace have been, like you say, in free fall and imploding. Who do you want to play at these times? Usually Tottenham or Forest, isn't it? So my heart, of course, selfishly says I want to win 5-0. But I might go... what I do feel bad about, yes, I bought the package, so it wasn't as expensive. I think it's £52.50 per game overall, and it was worth every penny for Porto or whatever. But what could go against us is it could be 10,000 empty seats. The last I heard, that's out of date. That was a good few days ago. There could be thousands of empty seats. Could be a crappy atmosphere with, absolutely quite rightly, gone to general sale. Lots of people get there that don't usually go. Maybe some touristy type fans, not just those that don't get to go very often. So it might be a bit of a dull atmosphere. So that could work in their favour as well. I'm shocked about how well they're doing, to be fair, because when we saw the fixtures when they first came out, you thought, oh, at least we've got 2 easy ones to finish with if we need the points. How's that turned out? But yeah, unfortunately, it's got to be don't play any of them. He might play Gibbs White randomly because he adds energy and he runs all day. But really, it's going to have to be. I think give McAtee a game in his number 10 role that he prefers as well, potentially. I don't know who plays up front though because of the situation. Backward, that's a guy whose confidence has been shot to bits, but he's not going to get any better not playing, is he?
Yeah.
But
obviously Anderson's going to be suspended for that game, so we know he's not going to play. And I think there were a couple of other players on a yellow. Yates was one. I can't remember who the other one was on a yellow, but
Yates
I don't
needs
know whether.
to play.
Yeah, he does, and particularly because he didn't play against Brentford. I don't know whether suspensions or bookings carry over from the group stage to
I think
the
red
knockout
cards
phase. I'm not sure on yellows, but we'll see what happens on Thursday. And I'll be making my debut on the shelf, Olo, this season.
Yeah, coming sitting at the best seats in the ground. Finally got there. Managed to get them.
Finally got there. Right, as we're talking about the next round, the draw for the knockout phase is at 12 p.m. GMT on Friday. You can see the draw on the UEFA.com website or on YouTube, I believe. And it's an interesting way they're doing the draw. So the team, currently Forest are in 16th, I think, aren't they? And the draw is being conducted in pairs. So Forest are paired with the team in 15th, which at the moment is Bologna. And they play, let's assume for a moment that the team stay in that position. They will play the team either in the 17th or 18th spot. So Forest will be seeded, so hence they'll get a home game second. And so as long as they remain in the top 16, they will get that home game second. If they drop down below 16, they'll play at home first. And if they finish, for example, 17th or 18th, their 17th and 18th places are paired with the teams in 15th and 16th. So at the moment, those teams are Victoria, Pleasant in Czechia, and Fenerbahce of Turkey, I believe. As it stands
Victoria
right
Pleasant,
now.
it's about an hour from Prague, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So when you say a draw, Simon, so are we not just going to be able to work out who we play?
No, we'll know. We'll know one of. It's going to be one of two teams.
Oh, okay. So one of two teams, and the game could be on a Wednesday or a Thursday. Is that right?
It depends on whether there are any other football-related factors that dictate which day of the week it's on. So until we know who it is, we won't know which day of the week it's going to be. But I believe you can potentially look at the whole bracket as well at that after the draw. And I've seen a mock bracket already, and if it's accurate, we're going to be lined up to play Villa if we progress.
Cheap away game.
Yeah, with the way the table is lined up as at now, it'll be Villa in the round of 16, I believe. So, but it could all change. So that's as it stands right now.
Wow.
I'll take that.
Right, we're approaching the end of the show. Let's go back to the quiz question, and I've not really had time to think about it. I can only remember Robbie Keane playing for Wolves.
I forgot about Wolves. I was thinking Coventry and Tottenham. I went for, I'm almost certain it's wrong. All I could think of, I thought it's probably not Coventry, because I remember when he burst through at Coventry, he wasn't there. No, he burst through at Wolves, didn't he? Anyway, I went for Spurs FA Cup. I can't remember how much we lost by, 2 or 3-0, and Colin Doyle was in goal for us on loan from Birmingham, I think it was. And that's probably wrong.
Fantastic work, Marlo. 2nd of March 2005, Forest 0, Spurs 3. Goal from Rob Keane.
Do you want to see my working out?
Amazing.
His head's going to be so big it's not going to be able to fit through the door, Kate. Give him harder questions.
I want proof you didn't open AI, Marlo.
No, he had his pen and paper.
I literally wrote.
Well done. Good.
Spurs, and I knew we obviously, because he's a relatively recent player and we were bad for a long time. I knew we hadn't played him in the league until relatively recently. I couldn't remember because Coventry were in the top division for quite a lot of our rubbish spell. I completely forgot about Wolves. I would have probably gone Wolves as well if I'd have remembered Wolves. No, because he broke through at Wolves, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I dug a little deeper because I thought when I first started researching it, it came up with some suggestions of Wolves, but he didn't score against Forest.
No, I wouldn't.
Only one I could find was this FA Cup game in 2005. Yeah, where he headed in for Spurs. They beat us 3-0.
Well done,
I remember the game because I went to it, but I don't remember the goal. Because all I remember is we had Colin Doyle in goal on loan from Birmingham. Birmingham, that's how bad we were in those days. We had Birmingham's reserve keeper, third choice keeper probably. They might have been in the Prem, to be fair. And we were doing all right. And he literally dropped across like Crosley style in the FA Cup game to Portsmouth and they scored. So I didn't know it was him. I'm so sure Nicky Barmby scored, and I don't remember them playing together, but maybe that was a different game.
I didn't write down who the other scorers were for Tottenham, but yeah.
I can't even remember the actual score. I think it was 3-0 because I remember we drew at our place because that was the debacle where we kicked off a game against them, and it was Silenzi's finest moment where for 15-20 minutes we played a game in a snowstorm, and weirdly the only person who seemed to be able to stand up and control the ball was Silenzi during that 20 minutes, perhaps because everyone else was falling down. And then it got abandoned. That was the last time I sat in the Trent end up a tier as well. And it got abandoned. And the replay we drew 2-2. And I was living in London at the time. And I remember driving back to London afterwards and getting home and just in time. I think Woney scored an absolute Brahma of a free kick. And I don't remember all that. I don't remember their players. And it went to a replay and I went down. Well, I was already in London, went there and we got smashed 3-0. But there we go. Yeah.
Right, great question, Kay. We'll look forward to another one next week. But any final thoughts, Mono, from you?
No, just keep on going. And one thing we forgot to mention, that is now 7 points from the last 3 league games, which before those 3 games you'd have been very happy with 4 points, I'm sure. So all the Dyche out people and the people getting on his case about Dyche ball need to look at the bigger picture for the rest of the season.
Yeah, bigger picture, we've got Palace, Leeds and Wolves next 3 league games, so critical period coming up. Anything from you, Kate?
No, I believe the women won on Sunday as well. They were playing at the same time as us. So they beat Sheffield United 1-0. Quite a few of the Garibaldi girls went down there to support them. So
I've got a quiz question. Who scored the winner?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
Wellings.
Oh, right, okay. But I did see they've also signed a striker, haven't they? The women's team have signed a striker as well. So yeah, big up the women. Still doing well. 1-0 win for them against Sheffield United. I hope they sing this one.
Excellent, thanks, Kate. And last but not least, Chelsea, anything from you?
Just consistency is key now, isn't it? Just as we are from now, keep going, please. This is the Forest that we have been wanting back and what we've had before, and we just need it to.
Excellent stuff. Right, we shall be back later in the week, hopefully looking forward to a good tie in the Europa League and looking forward to a massive game against Palace. Thanks for listening and we'll speak soon.